So I believe this could be the place. Check it out, buddy. So, I mean, this would be an excellent place for ticks to live. So, recommend a tick check after venturing into the long grass. Aside from that, is this fucking awesome or what? God damn. Bro. Beneficent, bro. Observe. Epic. Hopefully this doesn't mark the beginning of a new chapter of vlogs entitled... Oh, I won't even say it. I'm so superstitious. God, isn't it gorgeous? You could record some really excellent videos in here, I bet. No. There is, of course, a tiny problem. And that's the thistles, which grow very vigorously here. Like you would not fucking believe. Hi. There it is. Well, I thought that I saw a cigarette in there. Oh, this will be a good place to read some poetry. Very cute. A little bit squished. But still very much intact. Bruh. Around about 1825, you know, I left Tennessee very much alive. And of course, I never would have made it through the Arkansas mud if I hadn't been riding that Tennessee stud. Oh, this is good. This is this might be fucking peak spot actually. A word for the parasites that infest and decorate the delicate grass. God, it's just fucking gorgeous in every way. There we go. And youths and maidens most poetical, lose the deepening twilights of the spring in hot ballrooms, or something like that. Let's take a look. The nightingale. You who lose the deepening twilights of the spring in ballrooms and hot theaters, they still, full of meek sympathy, must heave their sighs over Philomela's pity-pleading strains. My friend and thou, our sister, we have learnt a different lore. We may not thus profane nature's sweet voices, always full of love and joyance. 'Tis the merry nightingale that crowds and hurries and precipitates with fast, thick warble his delicious notes, as he were fearful that an April night would be too short for him to utter forth his love chant, and disburthen his full soul of all its music. And I know a grove of large extent, hard by a castle huge, which the great lord inhabits not, And so this grove is wild with tangling underwood, and the trim walks are broken up, and grass, thin grass and kingcups grow within the paths. But never elsewhere in one place I knew so many nightingales, and far and near, in wood and thicket, over the wide grove, they answer and provoke each other's song with skirmish and capricious passagings, with murmurs musical and swift jug jug, and one low piping sound more sweet than all. Stirring the air with such a harmony that should you close your eyes, you might almost forget it was not day. On moonlight bushes, whose dewy leaflets are but half disclosed, you may perchance behold them on the twigs, their bright, bright eyes, their eyes both bright and full, glistening, while many a glowworm in the shade lights up her love torch. O most gentle maid, who dwelleth in her hospitable home, hard by the castle, and at latest eve, even like a lady, vowed and dedicate to something more than nature in the grove, glides through the pathways. She knows all their notes, that gentle maid, and oft, a moment's space, what time the moon was lost behind a cloud, hath heard a pause of silence, till the moon emerging hath awakened earth and sky with one sensation, and those wakeful birds have all burst forth in choral minstrelsy, as if some sudden gale had swept at once 100 airy harps. And she hath watched many a nightingale perch giddily on blossomy twigs still swinging from the breeze, and to that motion tune his wanton song like tipsy joy that reels with tossing head. Farewell, O warbler, till tomorrow eve, and you, my friends, farewell, a short farewell. We have been loitering long and pleasantly, and now for our dear homes. That strain again, full fain it would delay me. My dear babe, who, capable of no articulate sound, mars all things with his imitative lisp. How he would place his hand beside his ear, his little hand, the small forefinger up, and bid us listen. And I deem it wise to make him nature's playmate. He knows well the evening star, and once when he awoke in most distressful mood, some inward pain had made up that strange thing, an infant's dream. I hurried with him to our orchard plot, and he beheld the moon, and hushed, at once suspends his sobs and laughs most silently, while his fair eyes, that swam with undropped tears, did glitter in the yellow moonbeam. Well, it is a father's tale, but if that heaven should give me life, his childhood should grow up familiar with these songs, that with the night he may associate joy. Once more farewell, sweet nightingale. Once more, my friends, farewell. I mean, what is he about? I can't claim to. There's an owl somewhere. I can't claim to have any such idea. But it seems to be enjoyable to read what he's written, especially out loud. That's sort of noticing sort of a trick with speaking. If you're going to speak, it helps to listen to what you're saying, to not be afraid of the sounds that are coming out of your mouth. Because ostensibly, if you're afraid of the sounds that are coming out of your mouth, you're not willing to listen to them. You're listening to the image that you're trying to make them into, which is compromising your ability to speak, really. What it's doing is compromising your ease. So if you have something to say, Have you ever tried listening to yourself? Do you ever listen to yourself speak, man? Do you give a fuck about the words that are coming out of your mouth? Or are you going to dismiss them as worthless before you've even yet had a chance to articulate meaning? I would say trust in God, because God's will has already been done. It's currently being done. And God's will was always going to be done. Was always going to be done. There's something really delicious about saying it out loud. God's will was always going to be done. It was always going to be done. It was already true. Before you were born, and after you die too, and the moment of your death, and the moments of your father's death, and your mother, and your grandmother, and your grandfather, and all of your friends. And in the moment that you inhabit now, so I suppose my question for you is that troubling for you, or is it more freeing? So everything seems to come from some sort of listening. So I suppose if you're concerned about where your words will come from, or you're scared about what you might say, the thing to do is to ask where your words are coming from, because you're not making them yourself. They're always coming from some sort of external source. Right, everything comes from listening. So, what are you listening to? Are you listening to your thoughts? That's fine. That's also God's will, I suppose. Are you listening to your heart? Or are you listening to the wind, or your surroundings, or someone else? It's raining a little bit. Listening to creatures, you're listening to your feet, your hands, your legs, your thighs, your stomach, your reproductive organs. Of course, those are head words. Are you listening to your cock? Or are you listening to your ovaries? Are you listening to your prostate? You're listening to your ass, bro? What's your ass say? So I suppose poetry could be used as a device to listen to what your organs have to say and then present them at a distance through text. Oh, I'm just reading a poem, you know? Doesn't have, it can mean whatever you like. Whereas if I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to what my prostate has to say, that would mean instantly taking accountability. Which is a little too scary for me to do if I'm speaking to someone, I suppose, except for a very few special people, like, for example, Jasper. Hopefully Traveler, I don't know. Well, I do know. I suppose the answer is I am afraid to speak with my whole body. As regards Traveler, I'm listening to my thoughts a lot of the time, or maybe some tame part of me. Like, or maybe poetry can be used as a device to read your own meaning in the moment through an instrument. In this case, the instrument is someone else's words that they've arranged metrically or pleasingly. So that's kind of an interesting lens to read poetry with. You're not reading for external meaning, you're reading for internal meaning. Whatever it is for you. Like, for example, I'll use this poem to maybe say something that's a little taboo. In Kohln, a town of monks and bones, and pavements fang'd with murderous stones, I counted 72 stenches. Stenches, all well defined, and several stinks. Ye nymphs that reign o'er sewers and sinks. The river Rhine, it is well known, doth wash your city of Cologne. But tell me thus, what power divine shall henceforth wash the river Rhine? Okay, well that felt pretty good. So I'll leave it up to the read. It's up to the reader's imagination to inject meaning into that one. Although I'll admit to listening to a specific part of my body. So if it's obvious, I suppose that'll be something interesting. If it isn't obvious, that'll be maybe even more interesting. I wonder what that could mean. Now something else. Another part. In Kohln, a town of monks and bones, with pavements fanged with murderous stones, I encountered 72 stenches, all well defined, and several sinks. Ye nymphs that reign o'er sewers and sinks. The river Rhine, it is well known, doth wash your city of Cologne. But tell me thus, what power divine shall henceforth wash the river Rhine? Wow. Well, that's something totally different too. Fuck. It's quite something. Well, I suppose that might be it. That's all. It's almost 30 minutes of video to watch, which is it's almost too much for anybody, really. Godspeed to you, and God bless.